Welcome to part 2 of our drive down the famous Pacific Coast Highway from San Francisco to Los Angeles. I'll link to part 1 at the end of this video. After getting here last night in San Simeon, we're gonna check out this little town, grab some breakfast, and then continue our tour. We are currently in the small town of San Simeon. Population 462. This would be a small blip on Highway 1 were it not for the fact that 2 of the best attractions are located right here. Its biggest claim to fame is the Hearst Castle, which is a giant mansion built by publishing magnate William Randolph Hearst. In his time, he had a giant publishing empire with a paper in almost every major city in the US, including the San Francisco Examiner, the New York Mirror, and the Washington Times. His publishing empire also included very well-known magazines like Cosmopolitan, Harper's Bazaar, Good Housekeeping, and Town and Country. And today, that's expanded to include almost every major magazine title you can probably think of. He was also very active in political and Hollywood circles, and he would entertain lavishly at his estate. This estate is audacious, to put it mildly, and well worth the 2 to 3 hour tour. We're not gonna go through it today, but a few pro tips. It's guided, and the limited tour slots fill up quickly, so book in advance online. There are different types of tours all throughout the day that take you to different parts of the house, but the most popular one is the Common Rooms Tour, which shows you the most opulent of the rooms, but in a pinch you could book any one of the other ones. The tickets are not cheap. They start at about $25 plus an $8 processing fee each, and there's a special Christmas tour around the holidays. And finally, the estate is located at the top of a large hill, and the parking at the bottom, which means a winding 2-mile shuttle trek all the way to the top. So for you motion sick people, that's another barf bag moment, and think about whether you want to actually make the trek. For our short tour, we're going to go about 5 miles down the coast to the Piedras Blancas elephant seal viewing rookery. This is a rookery area for these elephant seals here, which are one of the larger of the species. There's a long viewing platform, and it's right on the beach, so you're up close and personal to the animals. You're going to want to walk a ways down from the parking lot to see the bulk of the herd. These mammals begin to haul up on the beach in September and mate starting in December. Generally, in January they give birth to live pups, and they're there until March raising the young, and in April they're up on the rocks again molting. While it may look cute now, these male pups are starting to practice pretty deadly fighting skills. So that when they're ready to mate, they're able to put those skills to good use. Usually there's a lot of vicious and bloody biting, ending in the death of the loser. Check out the turkey vultures down there. Unfortunately, sometimes the young die, and you've got these turkey vultures that come to feed off the carcasses. And bundle up, it's pretty cold. Back in the car, and we're going to head about 50 miles south to San Luis Obispo, or San Luis, or SLO is also acceptable. But don't call it slow, or locals will give you stank eye. Despite being historically meaningful as one of the original California Spanish mission settlements, it's best known for the university located here, California Polytechnic San Luis Obispo, or Cal Poly SLO. Aside from being a sleepy college town, SLO's other main distinction is the Madonna Inn, a funky, kitschy, used-to-be motel now turned into a luxury resort. And this is both my fast and slow stop for this POI. The hotel was first opened by Alex and Phyllis Madonna in 1958. Phyllis did all of the interior design and took somewhat of an unconventional approach. And instead of standard rooms, each room has its own separate theme. Mountain cabin, old mill, safari, caveman, and 105 other rooms. These are all built between the 50s and the 60s, and the decor has stayed pretty much the same to this day. If you have time, definitely stay overnight. It's not cheap, and the rooms are kind of locked in time, but it's well worth the experience and the cost. This marble balustrade came from Hearst Castle. And the men's bathroom is something special. The urinal flushes using a cascading waterfall that triggers when a laser beam detects that you're done. If you have time, you should walk around and explore their public areas, including the 1,000 acres of hiking trails in their backyard. Some of these rocks used here are about 200 tons each. If you're staying here, also check out the pink tennis courts and the beautiful infinity pool with the 45-foot waterfall. At a minimum, pop in for an hour or two for lunch or a mid-morning coffee and dessert at the Copper Cafe, which is located here in the Big Pink Main Inn, which was designed by Phyllis to look like a Swiss chalet, but pink. Phyllis felt that pink made people happy. Check out the gloriously mismatched dinnerware here. Look, pink sugar. You have to get a slice of their signature pink champagne cake here. It's angel food cake layered with pure whipped cream and a rich, delicious Bavarian cream. Then they coat the outside with curls of pink guittard chocolate, which they shave themselves in the back. That is so delicious, very rich and creamy. You've got to get this. They've got other delectable flavors you can try, including Black Forest, carrot cake, toffee crunch, and many more. But we're on a tight schedule, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna switch over now to Freeway 101, and about 10 minutes down is Pismo Beach, our next destination. You might have heard of Pismo Beach from pop culture references in TV shows and films like The Big Lebowski, Clueless, Futurama, and Robot Chicken. While it's mainly known as a surf town, there's a couple of really solid activities to do there. For a longer pit stop, adrenaline junkies will love Oceano sand dunes, one of the most expansive sand dune areas in the entire state. It's perfect for ATV vehicles. You're going to need a four-wheel drive to get across to it on Pismo Beach itself. This is one of the few beaches in the state that allow public vehicles on the sand. And since this is a state park, all you need is a use permit and a parking fee. If you happen to be here late October through February, there's nothing more spectacular than visiting the Monarch Butterfly Grove. At its peak, about 35,000 butterflies will gather here to mate and lay eggs. The insects form layers on the branches with their wings overlapping for warmth. And this grove right next to the beach happens to have the right microclimate for them. Make sure to bring a telephoto lens if you plan to take pictures. The insects are too tiny otherwise to capture on film. The grove is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and there are docent talks at 11 and 2. Okay, back on the 101 and we're about an hour out from my favorite stop, Solvang. This town was originally founded in 1911 by Danish immigrants who relocated from Iowa in order to get away from the bitter Midwest winters. The downtown architecture is authentically European, down to the four windmills. The statue of the Little Mermaid was shipped over from Denmark. These ornamental storks on the rooftops are considered good luck by the Danes. This town became a major tourist operation in the 40s, and actually some of the thatched roofs and timber facades were added later on for effect, to play up the Danish heritage. There are a ton of bakeries around, and a must order are the ableskevers, a Danish dessert which look like pancake balls with berry jam on the inside. These are generally eaten at Advent or Christmas with glögg or Scandinavian mulled wine. If you have time for a sit down, also try the frikadelle, which are meatballs similar to the Swedish one, except the Danish ones are made with pork instead of veal or beef. And the medisterpølse, a thick spiced pork sausage made with minced pork, lard, allspice, and cloves. If you head to Solvang restaurant, you can get it all. On the road again. Solvang is a 50-mile hop, skip, and jump down the 154 from our last pit stop before we hit LA, Santa Barbara, self-styled American Riviera. And it's pretty dang close. The weather here is temperate all year round. There are gorgeous white stucco buildings lining the fine white sand beaches, yachts and sailboats in the harbor, the oil rigs on the horizon, and tons of huge celebrities like Oprah Winfrey and Ellen DeGeneres who have lavish homes in the nearby suburbs. You could easily spend weeks here. There's so much to do. Shopping, surfing, boating, and even wine tasting in the nearby Santa Rita region, a la Sideways, which incidentally was set here in Santa Barbara, and even exploring the history all the way back to Mission Santa Barbara. It's pretty difficult to narrow it down to only one or two top things you can do in under a day, but I'm gonna try. For an extended experience, spend it at the trendy Funk Zone district, 10 blocks that span the Ocean, downtown, and Amtrak. Much like most arts districts, this used to be industrial warehouses, but now have been turned into boutiques, art galleries, restaurants, and wine tasting rooms. It's the best of Santa Barbara all combined into one. I'll include a link in the details down below to an online guide that I found to the Funk District. Got about an hour, the most popular tourist attraction is Stearns Wharf. This pier was originally constructed in 1872 and actually functioned as a commercial wharf for quite a long time before it became a tourist destination, and now has tons of restaurants and little boutique shops. Make sure you stop off at McConnell's Fine Ice Cream for a couple of scoops. It's been a family-run business for the last 70 years, been relocated to State Street, and it's really only like a 5 to 10 minute walk down. Our next and final destination is LA, the City of Angels. I'm going to end the video here because for the next 3 hours past Oxnard, we're going to hit the infamous LA traffic, and I'm not going to have very much brain power here to record. Thanks for coming down the coastline with me on Highway 1, and I'll see you back in San Francisco. Till the next time, peace out.